pursue external markers of status, power, and approval, desperately attempting to mask their inner wounds with fragile, often brittle, masks of superficial success. They strive to compensate not for their true felt inferiority, but for the elaborate illusion they have constructed about themselves, or the illusion society has foisted upon them. And in doing so, they become trapped in an endless, exhausting struggle where each fleeting achievement brings only more emptiness, a deeper fear of being exposed as the fraud they believe themselves to be, and a festering resentment directed both inward and outward. Adler fundamentally breaks with the traditional view by asserting a profound truth. It is not the feeling of inferiority itself that destroys you. It is the way you choose to grapple with it, the path you consciously or unconsciously decide to take in response to it. You can choose to remain an eternal slave to the relentless, soul-crushing game of comparison, forever measuring yourself against others and finding yourself wanting. Or you can choose to take the narrative of your pain, your struggles, your perceived limitations, and make it the unshakable foundation of your strength, your resilience, your unique contribution to the world. The choice, though it may feel invisible in the moment, is being made right now as you absorb these words. But to truly embark on this path of genuine transformation, it is absolutely essential to shatter a devastating belief that has been meticulously implanted within you. The belief that you are, at your core, a defect to be corrected, a problem to be fixed. As long as this belief holds sway, every attempt you make at self-improvement, every effort to change, will be nothing more than another act of subtle, or not so subtle, hatred directed against yourself. In the next part, we will confront this lie with unwavering directness. We will dare to look in the mirror, unblinkingly, and understand why you have never been and could never be a mistake. And we will explore Adler's profound conviction that it is precisely in the deep, unvarnished acceptance of who you are, in all your messy, imperfect humanity, that true, unassailable power resides. In a world expertly designed to profit from your insecurity, believing that you are a defect makes you the ideal consumer, the perfect cog in systems that rely on your perpetual dissatisfaction to maintain their function and growth. But Alfred Adler, with his penetrating gaze, perceived a brutal truth that few possess the courage to fully embrace. You do not need to be fixed. You need to be understood, seen for who you truly are. You need to be awakened to the magnificent potential that already exists within you, not molded into some false, plastic, and socially sanctioned version of what it means to be adequate. From the earliest whispers of childhood, the relentless refrain has been, be better. Do more. Achieve what is expected of you. These weren't mere encouragements. They were subtle blows, repeated like hammer strikes against the fragile edifice of your nascent sense of worth. Gradually, insidiously, you stopped asking yourself, who am I truly? And began to measure yourself exclusively by what you are not, by what is perceived to be lacking, by what you should be according to absurdly unattainable, often contradictory standards. Adler asserted that a healthy human being is not one who has somehow managed to eliminate all their flaws or become an impeccable, flawless being. Such a state is a fantasy. A healthy human being is one who courageously integrates their weaknesses, their imperfections, their inherent limits, and uses these very elements as the raw material from which to build something truly grand, something authentically their own. It is one who deeply understands that vulnerability is not a source of shame. It is the very bedrock upon which true strength is forged. That there can be no genuine, sustainable development as long as you harbor a deep-seated hatred for yourself. That the impulse for change, the drive to evolve, only becomes real, powerful, and lasting when it springs from a place of profound respect and unwavering compassion for oneself, not from a place of self-rejection and loathing. You are not the failure they meticulously taught you to see. You are the living embodiment of your struggle, your quiet resilience, the countless days you felt like giving up but, somehow, found the strength to move forward anyway. Every wound they attempted to inflict, every scar they tried to use to diminish you, actually carries within it the seed of your unique potential, the testament to your enduring spirit. But to truly heal, to truly reclaim yourself, it is absolutely necessary to break the cycle. To stop desperately trying to become someone you are not. To cease living in a perpetual state of war against your own existence. Adler taught us, with unwavering clarity, that only when we accept, without masks or pretense, the totality of who we are, our light and our shadows, our strengths and our vulnerabilities, do we begin to walk the path towards true self-defined greatness. You do not need to become a fundamentally different person. You need to liberate yourself from the suffocating lie that has convinced you for far too long that who you are, in your authentic essence, will never be enough. And now that you are beginning to perceive the sheer magnitude of this potential transformation, the moment has arrived to take an even more decisive step. How, in practical terms, do you dismantle the inferiority complex? How do you construct a self-esteem that is not a fragile edifice built on the approval of others or the endless, exhausting treadmill of comparison? This is the revolutionary path that we will unveil in the next part. If what you are hearing resonates deeply within your soul, let me know by leaving a comment. For Alfred Adler, the path to healing from the crippling grip of the inferiority complex was not paved with the empty repetition of positive affirmations or the shallow masking of pain with fleeting distractions. It was not about pretending the wound doesn't exist, nor about constructing a false self-image based on hollow, external achievements. For Adler, genuine healing demands a radical, fundamental reconstruction of the relationship you have with yourself and, consequently, with the world around you. And this profound reconstruction begins with an act of brutal, unvarnished courage, taking absolute responsibility for your own existence, for the trajectory of your life from this moment forward. The first and perhaps most challenging step is to definitively abandon the role of victim. You are not to blame for the scars you carry, for the wounds inflicted upon you in the past. But you are undeniably responsible for what you choose to do with those scars, with those wounds, now. What happened to you may have hurt you deeply, shaped you in profound ways, but remaining a hostage to those past hurts is a choice that, consciously or not, you continue to make every single day. Adler reminds us, with unflinching directness, that as long as we place blame on the past, on other people, or on external circumstances, we remain fundamentally powerless, trapped in a narrative not of our own making. True strength, the kind that fuels genuine transformation, arises precisely when you stand up and declare, "The story I will write from this day forward will be my responsibility and mine alone." The second essential step is to cease, completely and utterly, building your identity on the treacherous quicksand of comparison. The inferiority complex thrives, like a parasite, on the constant, relentless evaluation of yourself against others. It requires you to look sideways, to measure yourself against external benchmarks, to feel smaller, to perpetually wish you were something or someone you are not. Healing begins the moment you consciously and definitively refuse to play this game. It begins when you grasp, at a fundamental level, that there is no single legitimate standard of enoughness to be achieved, no universal yardstick against which your worth can be measured. Your true mission is not to be better than others. It is to strive to be whole, to be complete, within the sacred boundaries of your own skin, according to your own unique blueprint. Adler also proposed a principle that was, in its time, truly revolutionary: the profound importance of social connection, of genuine community. He asserted, with conviction, that the true overcoming of the inferiority complex does not occur in isolation, in a solitary struggle against internal demons, but through the forging of authentic bonds with others. Not through seeking their approval, but through sharing a common purpose, contributing to something larger than oneself. For Adler, the very essence of living is contributing, participating meaningfully in the human community, feeling genuinely useful and necessary within the intricate tapestry of human connection. When you find a greater meaning, a purpose that transcends the mere need for personal validation or the endless pursuit of external approval, the crippling grip of inferiority begins to loosen its hold. The focus shifts, liberating your consciousness from the confines of your wounded ego and redirecting it towards the positive impact you can have on the world, on the lives of others. The practice of healing, therefore, involves three simultaneous, interconnected movements: courageously taking responsibility for your own life, unequivocally rejecting the corrosive poison of comparison, and actively seeking a purpose that extends beyond the narrow confines of the need for personal validation. But there is something even deeper, something more fundamental, that needs to be grasped. Mere intellectual awareness of these steps is not sufficient. True, lasting transformation requires an internal rupture, a profound paradigm shift, a rebirth of your very identity. And for that, courage is not just helpful, it is absolutely essential. Courage to consciously abandon the old limiting version of yourself, the one defined by insecurity and fear. Courage to face the potential emptiness that may temporarily remain when the old, familiar chains are finally released. Courage to embark on the daunting but exhilarating task of reinventing yourself, not from the shifting sands of external opinion, but from a new foundation, solid, real, non-negotiable, built on self-acceptance. And it is precisely about this courage, this inner fortitude, that we will speak in the conclusion. The journey does not conclude here, it has only just begun. Prepare yourself. The time has come to confront a truth that few are truly ready to accept, a truth that can be both terrifying and profoundly liberating. No one is coming to rescue you from the prison you have perhaps unknowingly helped to build around yourself. No external achievement, no amount of praise, no measure of external validation, however grand, can ever truly fill the gnawing void created by the deeply ingrained belief that you are somehow inferior. This is a battle that unfolds in the quiet solitude of your own consciousness, far from the roar of the crowd, away from the blinding glare of the spotlight. And it is a battle that ultimately only you possess the power to win. The inferiority complex was not an inherent part of your being, it was meticulously taught to you. You were systematically instructed to doubt yourself, to constantly compare yourself to others, to diminish your own worth in the face of arbitrary standards that were never designed for you to reach, let alone surpass. But now you know the truth, what was learned can be unlearned. What was imposed upon you can be consciously rejected. The pain you carry, the scars you bear, are not proof that there is something fundamentally wrong with you. On the contrary, they are irrefutable proof that you survived a system, a culture, a series of experiences that actively sought to break you, to diminish your spirit. Adler, in his profound wisdom, gave us more than just a complex psychological theory. He handed us a map, a blueprint to freedom. But a map, however detailed, is not enough. You must choose to walk the path. You must be willing to face the discomfort, the uncertainty, the fear that inevitably arises when you step off the well-trodden path of self-limitation. You must undertake the courageous, painstaking work of rebuilding yourself, not with borrowed materials, but with your own hands, brick by deliberate brick. Not to become someone entirely new, someone unrecognizable, but to return to being the magnificent, whole human being you already were before the world taught you to hate yourself, to doubt your inherent worth. So now the choice rests squarely with you. You can close this video and retreat back into the familiar, albeit painful, embrace of the old narrative, the one that whispers that you are not good enough, that you must be someone different, someone better, to deserve respect, to deserve love, to be truly worthy. Or you can take the first decisive step towards breaking this invisible chain and begin the exhilarating, challenging work of writing a different story, a story of self-acceptance, of resilience, of reclaiming your power. I want to know, truly know, what is the lie that has wounded you most deeply to this day? What deeply held belief about yourself, rooted in that early seed of inferiority, are you absolutely determined to dismantle, to destroy, to finally release? Leave a comment below. Share your battle, your struggle, because when you bravely transform your pain into words, it begins to lose its suffocating power to silence you, to keep you small. And do not stop here. The next video is not just another piece of content. It is an essential, vital step in deepening this transformative journey. Every insight you gain, every layer of the lie you peel back, brings you closer, inexorably closer, to the profound freedom that has always been your birthright. I will see you there, ready to take the next step together.